Hi, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Mateo Chavez Lewis, and welcome to the channel. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. I've had a lot of people ask me about ear training. A lot of my, musical theater friends struggle with sight singing, and the first thing I want to say to those people is that sight singing, by sight singing I mean reading sheet music and being able to sing the melody in the sheet music without even having anyone play it for you, just being able to read it off the sheet music. Sight singing is not nearly as hard as people say it is. People have this idea that it's this like magical skill that you're either born with or you're not. That is not true. If you can carry a tune, you can sight sing. If I play and you go, oh yeah, I know that. That's my Bonnie lies over the ocean. Then you have 100% of the natural ability that you need to sight sing, which is just being able to match pitch. Everything else is a skill that you can learn. And the problem is that a lot of the times it's taught, especially in like music school, it's taught as you have to learn the interval from each note to the next. You have to be able to hear what a minor third is, and you have to be able to hear what a perfect fifth is. So in that melody, if we had sheet music for that melody, let me put that up on the screen right now. It goes D, B, A, G, E, D, B. Yes, we see that melody on the screen. And if you don't know how to read music, the first thing you got to learn is just how to identify the notes on the staff. So where the different staff lines are and which notes that means. But if you know that, then you can see, okay, this is a D, B, A, G, E, D, B. How does that sound? And if you want to learn how that sounds, the hardest thing to do is to decide the interval for each note. Because then you have to look at it and go, okay, we start on a D. Someone gives you a starting note. Okay, this is my starting note. It's a D. And then you have to go, okay, that's a major sixth to a B. So I know that the major sixth sounds like ba, ba. Okay, great. So I've got my first note. Ba, ba. Then I need to learn how to get my next note, which is an A. So I'm on a B, and that's an A. So that's a major second down. So that's happy birthday, but it's in a different key because it's a major second starting on a B. So it's, that's the note we start on. Birthday, happy birthday. Okay, there's my A. Okay, there's my second note. And it's a very, very slow process because you have to do that for every note in the melody. Whereas the method that I learned when I was quite young for sight singing, and it has served me really, really well since then, is instead of trying to figure out how each note is related to the note that comes right before it, the secret is to learn how each note is related to the major scale. Because then, instead of having to refresh your starting point every time, you're always referencing the same starting point, which is the key you're in. In that example, we're singing in G major. So every single note, all we have to do is figure out, okay, where does that note fit in G major? So that brings us to the next part of the video, which is what is that actual technique? So I learned this in the beginning of high school from my vocal coach at the time, Alex Fides. And Alex, if you're watching, hi, I love you so much. This method got me through, singing jazz a cappella professionally as a kid, and then, being a music theory tutor in college. It all came from like this basic exercise. So thank you, Alex. If you're out there, you just take a blank document, right? Just a totally blank, Google Docs page, or you can also do this with a pen and paper, right? It's really simple. Are you ready? That's it. That's all you have to do. Now, pick your starting note. So this is called solfege, right? These syllables, they refer to a particular note in a major scale. So if we're in G major, do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Our job now is to test ourselves on that. We know that this is do. So then, how does mi sound? Can you hear it in your head? Sing up in your head. Do, re, mi. That's our mi. And then what about if we go back to do? So, sing so. Sing up in your head. Do, re, mi, fa, so. If that's what you sang, you were right. And back to do. What about re? Sing up in your head. Do, re, do, re. There. So are you kind of getting the idea? Like, instead of determining where each note is going to be relative to the note that came before it, we're going to determine where each note is relative to the major scale we're in, and that way our reference point doesn't change, so it's half the work that we have to do. Because instead of recalibrating our sensors to a new reference point with every note, it's just knowing, okay, we're in G major right now, so I know that this is do. You know, I know how this scale sounds. And so I know that when there's a B, that's going to be me. G, A, B, do, re, mi. So let's test it a little bit more. We're in G major still. Do, re. Can you find this note? Do, re, mi. Do, re, mi, fa. What about going back here? Can we find this note? Find the do in your head. Do you remember how do sounds? Do. And then just go up. If you sang re, then you were right. Are you kind of getting the vibe? So all you do is you make yourself a sheet like this, and you just test yourself. You go do, fa, re, so, ti, mi, do, so, mi, la, fa, re, do. And so you start learning how each note sounds relative to the major scale, and then when you're presented with a melody, like say we go back to our example from before, I know that this is so, mi, re, do, la, so, mi. And I know that that sounds like ba, 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 da, ba, 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 ba. And so I can read the melody. It takes a long time to get used to it and to have it come second nature, so don't beat yourself up if you're not getting it right away, but that's how you do it. You have to find your do, then you have to sing up from do, and do is always going to be the first note of the major scale. So in E flat major, it's going to be E flat. In C major, it's going to be C. In D flat major, it's going to be D flat. Wherever your major scale starts, that's your do. And then you're going to sing up the major scale, do, re, mi, fa, so, to hit your note. And then slowly you're going to start remembering, oh yeah, when it says so, I go, so, and I know that that's how it sounds, so I don't need to sing up every time. It takes practice, but with that practice, you're going to see results. So if you do this, just do this, you can test yourself. Just hit a random place on the scale and be like, do I know what so sounds like? You know, do I know what re sounds like? And if you practice 5 minutes a day, you'll start feeling a lot more confident in a week, 2 weeks with your sight singing. And then if you really want to go jazzy with it, if you really want to be hard on yourself, give yourself a tough time, you can do this. Ready? And there's your chromatic notes, your semitones. Let's go down to D major. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, ma, re, do, fa, mi, la, re, so, ra, do, fi, so, do, ta, so, lo, so, ra, do, mi, re, fa, mi, so, fa, la, lo, so, ti, ra, do. So that's where you're going to get to with practice. And then the only step you have left in your process is just recognizing, okay, we're in G major. I see a B on the staff. What note is B? Like, what solfege note, what role does B play in the scale of G major? And so that requires learning your major scales really, really well. So there's two components to ear training. There's two components to sight singing, which are learning how to find each note relative to the major scale, and then learning what role each letter note plays in the given major scale that you're working with. So this is the first component, or this is the second component. This is one of the two components. It's kind of a chicken and the egg. They both need to happen simultaneously. If you are also learning your major scales really, really well, this will help you sight sing, no problem. And if you are having a hard time learning your major scales, make sure you check back here on this channel, because I'm also going to make a video about major scales really, really soon. So make sure you subscribe, and if you want more coaching on music theory and ear training, if this was helpful for you, if this is something you're interested in, I do offer coachings either online or in person, double vaxxed, obviously, in Toronto. And you can book those on my website, www.mateochavezlewis.com, which you can find the link is in the description. I really believe in the beauty of music theory. I believe that it unlocks, when you have the theory knowledge, it unlocks a lot of creative potential, because you know how to make your creative visions become a reality. You have the skills to actually create the thing that you've got in your head. So I really believe in the power of music theory, and I really believe in sharing that with young musicians. So send me a message on my website, www.mateochavezlewis.com, and make sure you subscribe for more videos like this. Yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Hope this helped, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.